Hi everyone, my name's Pieta Valentine. I've written the two books, The Resident's Voice from a Dementia Unit and The Resident's Rise from a Dementia Unit. So today's session is on low level anger, and the next two videos will be on moderate level anger and then high level anger. Now, it's actually really difficult to manage anger. We all know that, both for ourselves and others, especially in a dementia facility. It's very different to anxiety and depression, which is more of an introvert emotion, whereas anger is so extrovert and can be damaging, especially if the person's aggressive. And it can quickly escalate, from moderate to high, and a lot of damage can happen if the person gets aggressive, especially with frail residents in the facility, frail women, they can easily be knocked over or damaged or hurt. So with anger, it's more difficult to turn around as well. I mean, with the previous videos on depression and anxiety, I've explained how with lower level at least, it's quite, you can turn it around relatively easily. But with anger, you really have to nip it in the bud from the start and turn it around as much as you can, because it can so quickly rage through. Okay, so when the person starts, escalating, say low anger still, but it's, why am I here? Who put me in here? I want to get out. I want to go home, call the police, and that anger's building up, but it's not like aggressive or damaging anyone, but still the person's becoming really stressed out. You can see the signs of it starting. Nip it in the bud, come in, sit them down and explain everything thoroughly. Say it's your father and say, look, Dad, we've discussed this before. We've discussed this before you came in. We know it's a really difficult situation, but the thing is, you needed to come in here because of your memory problem, and your present memory is not good, even if it's gone, say not good. And it was becoming dangerous for you to live on your own, with the cooking, and one day you put the chips on the top of the stove and the house nearly went up. You've been losing your way and it's been difficult to find you, and all these things, whatever events have led up to it, of which there will be some. Give the genuine examples to him, and often that will flick his memory, and he may say, oh yeah, actually I remember that, right, okay. And that can actually settle them down quite well, because losing their way or nearly setting fire to the house is a powerful memory. So if they're going to remember anything, it's likely to be that. And also, past memory is less affected than present memory, so sometimes they can remember these events. Sort of highlight the scene and the example, say it in detail. There might be one detail that they can flick into, like, remember when you lost your way and we ended up finding you on the highway and the police had to pick you up and I had to come and, pick you up from the police station. Maybe, they might remember something like that, because it's a more sort of impacting memory. So go through that. And then, yes, we may have to repeat and repeat and repeat, but that's part of it. That's part of dementia, and we just have to find a way that we're okay with that. I mean, some people get bored or frustrated or upset having to repeat, but I don't know. I think it's okay. Like, we just have to be creative ourselves and finding ways to say it maybe in a different way so that it isn't boring for us, I mean, at the end of the day, it's important. It's really important information. So hopefully that will override any feelings of, boredom we get with having, or frustration we get with having to repeat information. And if it's too difficult for you, maybe you can get someone else in the family to come in and, repeat the information and say that you're getting a bit, over it, and someone else has to pick it up. But whatever it is, someone has to come and explain. And with that, of course, when we explain, really, the love, the reassurance, the understanding, really try and be generous with that, because, obviously it's incredibly demanding for the person that's going through this. And yes, they may have been angry at home and, you're over it, you know, you're fed up with it. So it's, you know, probably a relief in a way sometimes when they've come into the unit, all of that. But, you know, try and bring out that charitable part of your nature, because it's so helpful if you can. Because the thing is, it's not only the anger with your father's not going to only impact on him and your family, but the whole unit, you know, all the other people. So it's a community service if you can help. And not to think also that the staff will tell him, the doctors will tell him he's in a safe place. Well, actually, no. The staff will tell him, but it's always more impacting coming from a family member in the way I've just described. You know, the resident or your father doesn't even know the staff. You know, they might be a different nationality, that, you know, he doesn't recognize them. Maybe he doesn't understand the accent if there is one, all of these things. He knows you as family. And if you sit down with him, he will feel, you know, your compassion and your empathy. He will feel that. Even though he can't remember the facts, he will feel your emotion, and that will reach him, you know. And so we have to be prepared to go through this and look at it as a practical technique. You know, it's far better with dementia to be practical than it is with sort of to lay on the sympathy. It just does not help, does it? I mean, but this practical empathy, practical approach, practical techniques is really what the person needs to be able to manage in these facilities. I mean, of course you will feel sympathetic, you know, and empathetic, but really it's bringing that through so that you can help them in a way that's meaningful and helpful for them on a day-to-day basis, having to live in such a place. There's so many things, aren't there, really? I'll go into that later on, and when I've finished anger, I'm going to do a conclusion video to try and sort of pack all this up so it's easier for you to be able to have all the information in one place, because I know this is all a bit spread out, but there's a lot of information to cover. Okay, so the next thing is with anger, of course, tension rises, and we just, you know, so much of that, cortisol and aggression and energy is sort of burns us up. So if at all possible, try and get Dad out for a walk. Because at low level anger you probably can. I mean, chances are you can take him out. You've had a good reassuring talk. You've said to him, look, Dad, I'd like to take you out for a walk, but when I do, you have to be prepared to come back in when we come back. No fighting, no aggression. You know, you have to be able to be prepared to come back into the unit. Then I will be able to take you out for walks. I'll come in regularly whenever I can in the week after work. And in the weekends, one of us will come each Saturday and Sunday. And if your father's happy with that, you know, okay, good, he's going to get out, he's got support, he's got, you know, that backup, he's going to get the exercise. And make sure that you get from him that, you know, that he will come back into the unit. You know, that reassurance that he will. He needs to be he needs to have cognition around this, you know. And even if he can't remember exactly, he'll have the recognition of what's important. He will know. So go through that, and then if he's okay with that and he's settled when you talk with him, if he's settled, then you know that he'll be absorbing. Then at low level anger, and if the staff are okay about it, yes, you can take him out for a walk, and that will help him. And through these techniques, you may well be able to turn this low level anger around. So the next video is on moderate level anger, then the one after that, high level anger, and the one after that, the overview on these videos on depression, anxiety and anger, the series of 3. Thank you for your likes, subscriptions. Very good. I appreciate all these. I appreciate everything. I appreciate your support. Absolutely. For us to be able to get a platform for this dementia work on these practical techniques to be able to help these people in these institutions. Thank you.